Hey guys, Ryan Salzman here. We're on Wheeler Lake today, and we're going to be throwing downsized crankbaits. This time of year, the bait fish is really small, and when we have these cold fronts like this, a great way to catch some fish is to get a reaction bite on some smaller finesse-style crankbaits. Have you seen how many crankbaits are out there? It's overwhelming, right? So which ones do you throw during the fall, the winter, and the early spring? I'm going to tell you, especially when you're fishing shallow. So one of my favorites is a Spro Little John. This thing is a nice tight wiggle, and when I'm imitating smaller shad and bait, that's the one I'm gonna go to. There's a lot of different versions of this. You know, Rattle Trap came out with, their version of a DT6 or that. Basically your 6-foot runners and the ones that have a tight wiggle. You just wanna think, do I wanna imitate shad or do I wanna imitate crawfish? And how deep do I wanna target these fish? So just match your bill to how deep you want to fish. This is a DT10 in Demon. On Guntersville in the spring, I want to target a lot of 8-foot rock. So I'm going to go with the DT10 in Demon. But during the fall and later on in the spring when they start pushing up the spawn, I'm going to throw a lot of these, 4 to 6 foot divers like the Spro, like the DT6, like the Ima. This one is an Ima Pinjack. This one is a sleeper. Not a lot of people throw it, but it's really, really, really good when they're about to go up and spawn. Now, if you get on some of these Ozark lakes and different reservoirs, you gotta have a rock crawler in your box. All right, guys, I wanna talk to you guys about equipment. Your equipment is so crucial to any technique that you're performing. Now, this technique today is shallow crankbaits. The rod I'm using is a Fitzgerald 7.6 medium heavy, and this is their crankbait rod. It has a really parabolic, moderate action. You want that moderate action because you want that fish to be able to shake his head with those treble hooks pinned in his face and not throw the bait there. So, and the cool thing is as well is that parabolic bend allows you to get really good casts with a light bait. If you had a stiffer rod, your bait would not be as spring-loaded in the rod, so to speak. So the rod loads up, cast your bait really far, and as it's coming through the rocks, it loads up behind the rock and actually allows it to deflect off cover even better. So you really always want to think about whether you're cranking or throwing a swim bait or dragging a jig, what rod is going to enhance the action of this bait. So for this application, it's going to be, you want at least whether it's a medium heavy or a medium, you want that moderate action. Some guys like more of a medium, some guys like a medium heavy blend. For me, for this, I like more of a medium heavy blend because I can get them away from a big rock and pull a little harder if I need to. Now the reel and line, I'm throwing 12-pound P-line tactical fluorocarbon on a 6/8-to-1 loose reel. And I like a little faster gear ratio because I can reel it down with the current and kind of keep up with the speed of the current. And I like to burn the banks too, but you don't want to over reel your bait this time of year. You kind of want it bumping along those rocks. If you hit a big rock, pause it, let it float up, and a lot of times that's when you're going to get your strikes. But you don't always have to stop it and pause it. A lot of times if they're really active, you can just, that's a good fish. That's a good fish. You can just reel it just like this. Ooh, look at there. You don't always have to stop and go. You can just straight retrieve, and if they're aggressive like they are right now, they're pulling a lot of current, and these fish are chewing this morning on Wheeler Lake. And I think I'm just gonna kind of steady retrieve it and cover as much water as possible. Try to catch some more fish like that. All right, guys, I was interrupted by that fish right there, but how I got that bite was I was retrieving down to try and get it at depth and try to actually make contact with those rocks. And when I start feeling contact with those rocks, I try to feel the bait bouncing the bottom with my left hand in the rod and then the right with the retrieve. You'll feel your hand stopping in the reel. And when you feel that, you can pause and let that bait float up. And as soon as I hit that rock, it just stuttered just a millisecond. And when that happened, that fish just annihilated that bait. Well, let's see if we can get another one right here. I just hit a rock, I'm kind of bouncing it, pausing it. Sometimes I'll do a quick 2 turns and then pause it. I catch a lot of fish, like if I know they're there, and I haven't got a bite just on the normal straight retrieve. And sometimes you'll feel them come up behind it and nip at it and push it. If that happens, I'll do 2 quick turns and like try to take it away from them and stop it right in their face. And a lot of times they can't stand it because they're behind it chasing it, and when you try to take it away from them, and then as soon as it pauses, they either got to eat it or swim away. Most of the time they end up eating it. All right, guys, it's a pretty unique spot right here. This is one of the only ones like it on the whole lake. It's where a bluff wall goes to a sharp chunk rock transition and then cuts back into a mud bank. So, but the unique thing about it is the point points straight into the current. And we call that crashing. So that is where the current is crashing into that hard rock point coming out into the current. So anytime you have these spots where the current crashes into a rock point or a jetty, a lot of times a fish is going to sit right on the head of that rock, and a lot of times it'll be a smallmouth or a big spotted bass. All right, guys, this rod's really crucial to keeping this fish pinned. It feels like a pretty decent one. All right, been out here, it's a largemouth. No, it's a big spot. Hooked under the chin. Oh man, look at that. All right, guys, we're out here on Wheeler Lake on the Tennessee River. I'm Ryan Salzman, and if you want to catch more bass this late fall and early winter, throw shallow diving crankbaits. And if you want to follow me on social media, go follow me on Alabama Bass Guide. See you on the water.